Good evening, everybody. I am Gloria Coppola. I am the founder of Powerful Potential and Purpose Publishing, and I'm a story development coach who loves to work with heart-centered entrepreneurs. And as a natural-born empath and intuitive, I'm really excited about our author interview tonight because I learned a lot from her in her new and upcoming book, The Heart of Compassion. Now, this happens to be a proof copy, so your book won't come that way, okay? But I'm also a best-selling author, an international speaker, and a publisher. And tonight, I have Deborah Finley, who's going to be with us. And Deborah and I have been colleagues for a long time. We came from the healing arts background. When I got to meet her, and then we developed a friendship, she was like one day, I want to tell my story. And that's what we have done for the last 8 months. So I'm going to bring Deborah on here tonight so you can all meet her. Hey, Deb, how are you?
Good. How you doing? Hi,
I'm
everyone.
doing good. So, Deborah, you're an evidential medium. What does that mean?
Well, basically, what that means is that I try to provide as much evidence as I can from the spirit world for the people that I'm giving the message to. Now, sometimes that message itself can be evidential. So, and then examples of that would be, perhaps the relationship of the person, the age, perhaps the way they died, but they don't always want to talk about that or focus on that or be remembered that way. And memories that they've had shared with you. And what I really like is when they share a memory of the person or a situation that just happened. For instance, like going shopping and, picking out scarves, and they were there.
So, an evidential medium has more facts, more details.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And what other kinds of mediums are there?
Well, basically there's trans mediums, oh my gosh.
What's a common one other
I'm trying
than
to say trance mediums. And healing mediums. There's all kinds of mediums, yes. But it's all mediumship,
So we're going to talk about that a little bit more in a moment. But I want you to tell our audience, the people that are listening to you, why did you decide to write The Heart of Compassion, A Medium's Journey?
To help others.
In what way?
Well, many different ways. I'm multifaceted, and so is the book. And I wanted to help parents that have children who are sensitive and empathic and psychic and mediumistic. I wanted to help people who love us in general, be it a parent, a spouse, a friend, to try to understand how our minds work, and try to, basically give them a peek into our lives so that they would better understand us,
And you cover some of that in your book, like, some of the things when you were a child and then later on, different that you had a near-death experience as well.
Yes.
And then you lost loved ones like your father and you had a dream prior to that. So you really bring to your reader a lot of different experiences to show what it took you to be true to yourself.
Sure. Yes, absolutely, Gloria. Thank you for mentioning that. Premonitions can come in all different shapes and sizes. And I was born a medium. So the term used is like a natural medium. But again, it's the same as a medium. It's just that I happen to be born this way and aware of the spirit world since my first memories, And some people become mediums later on in life, But for me, growing up, I had these experiences that helped me evolve naturally. So as I evolved And as I grew, and it was age appropriate, by the way. So as I grew and I evolved, so did the lessons and so did the
Mm.
experiences, you know? And so that's what happened in my story, you know?
You talk about signs sent from above in your story. What
Yes.
exactly is that, and how did that help you, step into, like, your gifts?
Basically, our loved ones send us signs, right? They can be anything, anything at all, but they will be consistent. And
Mm.
as I was evolving and so forth, again, it's I want you to read it. I don't want to give everything away,
Don't
but
give it all away. That's
no, I
right.
don't want to give it away. But as I was, let me get this. As I was evolving, okay, I would have signs from heaven, such as I heard a voice,
Mhm.
warn me. I had a warning. Um, so that taught me to listen and trust my inner voice, my inner guidance. That's what that taught me.
You
Also,
know,
after my dad passed, he used to send a cardinal. Now I know
mm,
my dad wasn't the cardinal, just so you all know. I don't think my father's a bird, but um, he used to send this cardinal, and it would be when I was in a worried state of mind, and I
mhm.
would see this cardinal, and I would know that no matter how bad it looked, it was going to be okay. That's
It's
one
like
thing.
something that gets your attention, isn't it? It's
Absolutely.
like, some people it's a bird, some it's a butterfly, some it's a feather that comes down
So
from nowhere, right? Yeah,
yes.
it kind of gets your attention. I remember after my spouse passed, I
Hmm.
would pass so many green Ford Explorers the year that his was, like, it was
Yes.
crazy, but I knew it was him trying to get my attention. And
Yeah.
another thing he would do is he knew I hated the smell of cigarettes.
Hmm.
And if I
Yeah.
wasn't paying attention, I could be out in the woods in clear air and smell cigarettes for him to give me a sign.
Absolutely. Pay attention. I'm trying to speak to you. Yes, I hear you, Gloria. Remember the day
Yeah.
we did that event in January,
Mhm.
and we went to lunch, and on the way to our table, from the car to the table, I felt something in my shoe. So I looked, and it was the penny. And I looked at the date on the penny, and here it was the year my grandfather, my paternal grandfather, was born. And the other night, when we were in the empath room and we were chatting back and forth with people who were empathic in your empathic room, and they was sharing their signs and stuff, and I had mentioned I received dimes from one grandfather and a penny from another, right? And I spoke about that story. And the long
Oh,
story
and you
short, I'm
go
sorry,
ahead.
the
No, no, go
long
ahead.
story, I just wanted to share with you. Since then, it's almost like he's like throwing me pennies everywhere, trying to equal a dime each time. It's hysterical. And I'm like, I didn't mean it like that, Grandpa. But it's like he wants me to know, yes, it's me, in my opinion. To me,
But
that's what it
it's
means.
interesting that your grandparents are showing up, because when we set the intro price on this
Oh
of
yeah.
$6.22,
Oh
whose
yeah.
birthday did you realize?
Well, actually, that is that's the day my paternal grandmother passed away, right? But it's the twins. It's my niece who also passed. It's her twins' birthday, and she was born on my brother Michael's birthday, and she passed on my father's birthday. It's just like what it all means. I don't know, but I just the 622 was special to me. Yes, so
Yeah.
that was another
And
sign.
you didn't know, I didn't know. I just looked for as your publisher, looked for the price that we could bring it the lowest so you can do an intro special. And then I said it and said, okay, Deb, and you said, oh, great number. And then
Yeah,
you realized.
it was
So
perfect.
You have a lot of family supporting you through this process.
I really do. I honestly can feel it. And even in the writing process, I felt it, you know.
How did you feel it in the writing process?
I actually felt their presence. You know, as you know, the pandemic hit. I had a computer crash. Everything happened all at once. And I thought, oh my God, you know, and so it was during the rewriting, you know, and the recreating and so forth. That process, I could feel them here. I could really feel them here. And my memory, I couldn't believe how it came back. And it was with their help. I know it was with their help. I know it. And the creators' help. I know it. Because they wanted me to get the facts straight. Like after my near death, for years, you know, I would talk about this one, the premonition that I had. And I always said, like, about a month after, well, it wasn't. And they helped me realize it was literally, I still had the staples in me from the surgery. So it was like a week, not a month. So they wanted me to get all the facts correct, and they helped me with that. They really, so I felt them. I had thoughts drop into my head, memories drop into my head, and so forth. So that's how I hear, you know.
So, you know, a little bit earlier, we were talking about publishing books and stuff in the author's page, and people were asking a lot of questions. What was the easiest thing and the most challenging thing in writing your book?
For me, actually, the easiest thing was getting started. It was pretty easy to get started because I had journaled for years, and I had journals too that I could check facts with too. The hardest thing for me was, especially, you know, after the crash and all that stuff, I just to stay like believing that it was actually going to happen. And you helped, and your team, but you and Candy, like, helped it tremendously. Like your intuition and your creativity sparks. It's magical, and it sparks something within us too, I believe. You know, and I tell everybody that because, you know, it's funny. You remember, I'm sure, when we were editing and about skipping to my friend's house. And I'm like, how did she know that? And then I'm like, oh. And you're like, you forget. I'm intuitive, you know, because you could see it a lot, you know. So to me, that is amazing, and it's a gift. And it's nice to have somebody who has that essence. Not only somebody, you, Candy too, she's intuitive as well. So to have people like yourself and in a different way, okay, and in the same way too, sparking that, you know, and igniting that within you was nice. It was great.
So you have a question here from Shelley. She wants to know, what was your first experience that enlightened you?
Thank you. Jesus God. I mean, my first one that I wrote about actually was in Women Standing Strong.
Yeah, that's right. You did. You did write it there, didn't you?
Yeah. And I would tell you, there's been so many, but this was the first. I had struggled with my abilities. I struggled with the acceptance of them.
The acceptance,
yes, and where they came from, and all of this. I knew when I was younger. Now, I knew, but I allowed myself to become confused, like a lot of us do. It's you know, part of growing and part of evolving, and that's a lesson that I needed, evidently.
Your story in this one, in the collaborative before you did your solo, called Surrendering to the Divine Plan. And I love the way you opened it. The Creator God has an intelligence far beyond what our human capacity has the ability to conceive or understand.
Yes.
And so I know Probably in both stories.
I was going to say it's probably in there too. It's probably in here.
You talk about free will. Was that a point too that was like a moment, an aha, enlightening moment when you realized that? And can you explain that?
Yes. All right, I'll explain it on this level for you, because there's several incidences where I used my free will. To write this book, I used my free will, right? So, but I made a choice, right? Goodness.
Well, think about the first time, because maybe that's when it started to click for you, when you started to really wake up to this gift, even on a greater level. Because I know you do talk about it in here.
Yes, I was called back to mediumship. I heard a call. That's the way I want to say it to you. I heard a call, and I was not currently working as a medium. It was explained to me how I was needed and so forth, and of my own free. I mean, at first I had a panic, and you'll read about that, honestly. And I was like, "Are you kidding me? Now what am I going to do?" But and there's a whole story that I'm not telling you. Sorry. But
so here's my question.
My free will was, I knew it rang true, and I chose to go back into service.
So do you feel at that point, like what Shelley was asking, do you feel at that point is when you really got your message, that woke you up versus, the things that happened when you were a child and a teen and stuff? And did you take it maybe a little more serious and really delve into your gift?
Yes, I started to develop my gift with the credentialing in mind, with the credentialing and the education in mind. See, Spirit's been one of my greatest teachers, and I have to, and no disrespect intended towards any of my mentors, because they have been phenomenal. I've been very blessed. But Spirit had always been my teacher previous to that. But having the school and having credentials and working out there in real life, in the real world, so to speak, credentialing is important. So I started on this journey of acquiring the education and the credentialing so that I could be a more responsible medium when I was helping people. I had made mistakes being a natural medium, not knowing any better.
No filter. Kind of like when we're children, right? We just blurt things out. And I think you talk about that in here too. So It's like a child doesn't necessarily know that they're quote unquote enlightened yet, right? They just thing is happening at once, and they're open, and they're great channels. And they tell people things that maybe, oops, I shouldn't have said out loud, right? Because you've done that when you were a kid.
I totally did. I totally did. And I still have an issue with, and I've gotten better. I've gotten better, through the education and just knowing better, but I believe that the truth, it's important to me. I don't know. I was born like this. I don't know how else to explain it. So I always believe that I can handle anything at all. Just, it needs to be the truth, So it's just one of those things as learning to discern, how to say things, when to say things, and so forth, because, for instance, when I was a child and I blurted something out, my mom explained to me later, after about the third time I did it, because I wouldn't stop. And she explained to me how, like, saying these things could be upsetting to people, and you don't want to do that.
Okay, so let's talk about that, because sometimes people come to you for readings, which you shared some things in here. How do you manage not saying the wrong thing? How do you know they're ready to hear something, or is it something you just trust?
Well, I will say there's definitely a difference between a developing medium and a practicing medium. Okay. Because when I was developing, I would see things verbatim. And it was part of my learning. I believe Spirit was teaching me, helping me learn. Okay. And I don't know how else to explain it but that without, possibly traumatizing somebody. But, and I mistakenly would just say everything that I was shown with the idea, like, well, Spirit wouldn't show it to me if I didn't say it. Well, that was very naive and not knowing better. So, for instance, if I have a parent who has lost their child, there's no need for me to describe, and Spirit doesn't show it to me now, by the way, because I'm a practicing medium. I may know it, okay, but Spirit does not, there's no reason for me to describe blow by blow exactly what happened. Now, if I'm working on a missing person case or whatever, just say, yeah, I see things differently, but I share that with a detective. I don't share that with family. You understand?
Right, right.
So, because there's no need to.
Right.
There is a need, perhaps, with just reaffirming.
So do you feel most of the people that come to you just want to know their loved one is okay?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's healing that takes place, Gloria, on both ends. Not only for us that receive the messages, and like I said, earlier, just to repeat myself, the message itself can be evidential as well as healing. Okay, but it can be healing for us to know and hear. Okay, but it can also be healing for spirit, because sometimes when I say spirit, I mean your loved ones that have passed on,
right,
family, pets included. Sometimes the spirit needs to say, "I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry." And sometimes the person's not really necessarily ready to hear that, but usually they don't come to re-traumatize you or to hurt you in any way. They come usually to make retribution or to try to make, say they're sorry and things like that.
I remember when my spouse died traumatically, unexpectedly, and it rocked me upside down, inside out.
Sure.
And he came to me immediately. He actually came to me while he was missing, okay?
Yes.
To kind of talk to me about what was happening. And we were having conversations, and it turned out that it all came to fruition when they found his body. So in a sense, he was preparing me.
Very good.
I also knew when his heart stopped, when people were searching, and I said, no, we have to go home. I knew.
Yeah.
And that night, he actually came to me. And as much as I loved seeing him, I was also angry because he left. Okay. Yeah. And then for the first 3 months, he was so present, Deborah, so present. He would move things.
Oh, yeah.
He would guide me. He would talk to me. And here's what he did. And I'm sure you have stories like this. This happened, 22 years ago, and I had a caller ID on my phone.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, it was blinking, message waiting, and it never did that. It never had that. I couldn't turn it off. I couldn't get it. I looked at the manual. There's no feature. I called up the company. They said, ma'am, you don't have that feature. I actually took it apart, threw it across the room, and it still blinked, message waiting.
Yeah.
Every time he had a message for me, if I wasn't paying attention, that thing would blink, message waiting, message waiting. So do you find they play with electronics?
Oh my God, yes. Absolutely. That's one of the biggest things they do. And why? Because they can. Okay. Yeah. That's why.
Gosh, yes, they can do some amazing things.
Unbelievable what they can do. Unbelievable. But I have a client who her son would call her phone after he passed, and an old message of his would pop up.
Yep.
You know, old text messages pop
Yep.
up. And it was amazing. And I happened to be on the phone with his aunt one day, and we were chatting. And next thing you know, the wires got crossed.
Oop, I think we lost her for a second there. Her internet went out. So while we're waiting for her to catch up, her book, The Heart of Compassion, is available on Amazon. It is on sale right now for $6.22. So go grab it before it goes up to its regular price, and buy an extra copy for somebody that maybe has lost a loved one, or maybe they feel like they have this gift, or maybe you have the gift, and you just want, she's even got mentoring tips and everything in here. So we lost you for a bit. So that's why I jumped in.
It's kind of funny, don't you, that the internet just went out while I'm telling this story. It's probably him.
Yeah, and maybe it's not supposed to be told right now.
Okay, that's true too. Well, it's not in the book, but I will tell it another time. Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
You're right.
So Deborah has wonderful stories in here. She's got, what happened, funny stories when she was a kid, when she was working things out, her near-death experience, her dream before her father died, some things about her trainings, and some tips on the types of mediums and clairs out there and all of that. And it's packed full with information for everybody. So do you have any last words before we say goodbye?
Yes, just know that it's basically like on a beginner's level, the mentor and stuff that I do list in there. What else? What else, Gloria? I do have words, but just not coming out of my mouth right now. I don't know why.
Okay.
Maybe I'm not supposed to say them, right?
Maybe we're done, right? Maybe we're going to keep all the rest for them to figure it out. So if you...
No, go ahead. No, it's okay. Go ahead. I forgot again, honestly. Go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is how I worked with her for 8 months. Oh, I forgot again. Oh, I got this now.
Yeah, my memory's so great. No, looking back, I'm telling you. But yeah, you know what's happening. The spirit knocks on the door to me. That's what's happening right now. So please excuse me, everyone. Anyway, yeah.
I want to thank you for being one of Power, Potential, and Purpose's solo publishers. I want to thank you for the journey, because you taught me a lot. You taught me a lot, not only about mediumship, but you also taught me about what I need to do as a publisher, working with a medium. So there was a lot of things that both of us went through. Congratulations. Glad to hear about your book. Yes, get copies. Go get a copy for somebody, because there is somebody in your life that is going to need this at some point, a birthday, a holiday, whatever, because everybody loses loved ones. Yes. And this copy, and while it's literally only $6.22, you cannot tell me you don't have the money. Come on.
That's part of the reason we left it like that.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you. We enjoy having you here. But remember, the most important thing to get the message out is Deborah wrote the story to get the message out. But the best way to get it out even further is when you have a review on Amazon. You go give this lady 5 stars, because she worked her butt off for 8 months. Go give her 5 stars.
If you only knew.
If they only knew.
Right.
But tell people why it's important. Like, what did you get out of it? What part of the book really touched you? Because there's so many, I know you talked about it, multifaceted parts of this book, like a diamond. Yeah. Yeah. So
that was one of my father's messages to me, actually, that I was a diamond.
There you go.
That's where I got the multifaceted thing from.
Wonderful.
So, but it was really, it was a really beautiful message that I received from him. And I just wanted to talk just quickly with the premonitions and so forth. I have premonitions all the time in dreams and things like that. And just knowing, the way they came and so forth. But when I had it about my own father, I was like, no. no, total denial. But
Yeah.
but there's always lessons within in all the parts of our lives. And that has also helped me open my heart further and compassion for others,
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say that too. But
Yeah. And I'm glad you did, because I don't know if you knew this, but every loved one of mine that has passed, and there's been many. I lost my mother when I was younger, both my brothers, my spouse, and other people, even, aunts, uncles, all that. Deborah, I always have the dream prior,
yes,
always. And
yes,
I've had family members say, please don't tell me if you dream about me,
uh-huh.
And, and it's not always like right the day before. Sometimes it's a year or a year and a half ahead of time. And Deborah, me, for a while, it was disturbing.
Oh
And
yeah.
I was like the angel of death until I realized the gift and had my moment of enlightenment. Did you ever feel that way? Like you know too much, you don't want to know?
Yeah, I didn't understand why I had to know
Yeah,
and not be able to change
that's
it.
how I felt. I didn't understand.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
now
It's
I
not.
do.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, listen, it was part of my development. Honestly, it was part of it was part of the development and part of
Mhm.
just accepting myself. You know.
And Deborah, you have a Facebook group, I think, for people that follow
Oh
you.
yeah,
What's
I
it
have.
called?
Well, I have the Deborah Finley Medium page, and then I have.
Either one of you dream of me.
I get well. Honestly, I have had friends say that to me. I really, and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
I have too.
it's how they're like, Deborah, can you do me a favor? And I'm like, sure. What do you need? Do me a favor. Don't ever dream about me. So I hear you. When you
I want
said
to
that.
put what's your
Oh,
Facebook group again?
thank you. It's called Soul Spirit Community Talk, and it's a private group. So I just wanted to
So
let people know
basically,
that.
they should go friend you first in order
Yes.
to get. Okay.
Yes.
So
And
if you
then
want to be
yeah.
Deborah's group, find her on social media, Deborah Finley, and go friend her. And then you can join her if you like that. And I have the same premonitions too. Yeah. I think a
Yeah.
lot of people do, but not everybody trusts it. Don't you think there's a lot of people that just don't trust the information?
Absolutely, absolutely. But when it got to the point, honest to God, like, I mean, you can't deny it. You just cannot deny it when it continuously happens,
Yes.
you know. And I asked when I was 17 for God to please let me not know when somebody's going to die anymore. And I will tell you, finally it was changed finally, but it wasn't until many years later it was changed.
Yeah.
After my father passed and everything. So, now I'll smell flowers, so it changed. I don't have to have it. I don't have to witness it before it happens, Have I still? Yes. Occasionally I have. Yes. Do I still get premonitions? Yes, but in a different way.
Yeah, exactly. In a different way. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, Deborah, I want to thank you for being here. Let's give Deborah a big kudos, lots of hearts for taking the writing journey of 8 months of her life, actually a little more than 8 months of her life, but 8 months of trials, tribulations, joy, tears, you name it, right? Using documents in her computer. I mean, she really is unstoppable. There was a lot that went on and we had to keep plugging along, and she had lots of people that helped her. And that's the other thing. Sometimes you need lots of people helping you get through things. So
absolutely.
tell her how much you love her for going the full distance, right? She went the full distance, and we're very proud of you on this gorgeous day, September 1st. Okay.
My mom's birthday.
Your mom's birthday. Well, look at that. 6/22, your grandmother's day of passing, and 9/1 when it's published, your mom's birthday. Does she not have family watching? Goosebumps, the chills.
So lots of earth angels.
Oh gosh, so they love you, Deborah. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Go get another one for somebody else, okay? Somebody is going to need this for their loved one or to enhance their gifts, okay? So lady go #1. She's very, very close. She is in some really high ranks already on her first day. We're so super proud of her. She won #1 bestseller, which means she needs a lot of sales out there. So go tell your friends, okay? Go look on my timeline or hers and banner and go share it. If you have a social media group, go share it, because there's a lot of people that are going to be helped by this story and change lives. And it may even enhance somebody's gifts, right?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you all for coming by and being here.
Everybody.
And I'm going to be rooting you on to go. You're already bestseller, actually.
I know. I wasn't going to say that, but whatever. I thought I'm not going to correct you because you're the one that corrects me.
Yeah, but we were talking #1. She's #1 new release in multiple categories. She is a bestseller, like #5 and #6 in several categories. She's got some heavy competition with other empaths and mediums out there that have been around for a long time, but we're going to do it anyway, okay? And that's why, honestly, your review, your stars make all the difference, because that's what tells Amazon, pay attention, show her book coming up more so more people see it and get the help, okay? And you share it in your group and your page. Thank you. So we send blessings and thanks to everybody. Thank you, Deborah, for being here tonight. There you go.
Thank
and
you.
Pretty soon we'll have our copy without the proof of
That's true.
Okay. And when you guys get your books, do me a favor. Take a picture of it and post it on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, wherever you are. Okay. All right. Good night, everybody.
And I want to know their favorite part.
Oh, yes. What's your favorite part? Good one. Good one. Right. Okay. Thanks, Deborah.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight, and support our authors from Powerful Potential and Purpose, because every single one of them truly has stories that are life-changing. They touch your heart, they shift your perspective, and they will definitely inspire you. I'm Gloria Coppola, signing off for tonight. Oh, someone's getting their copy on Friday. Okay. All right. And just know that your story is important to somebody. And I want you to think about this. If it can change one person's life, will you get it out there and help them? Good night, all.